When a bystander videotaped the 1991 beating of Rodney King by members of the Los Angeles Police Department, the world was awakened to the potential of video as a tool for human rights advocacy. Musician and activist Peter Gabriel seized the moment and formed Witness, with an initial grant of just $100,000 from Reebok. The idea was simple: empower the people directly impacted by social injustice to tell their stories and thereby advocate on their own behalf.
Mune zvematongerwo enyika ndakapinda nekuda kwekuona kuoma kwakuita upenyu munyika yeZimbabwe. Ndakashungurudzwa nemayouth eZANU-PF. Musi wa 11 June vakauya vachinditora pabasa pangu apo taiita gadziro yekudzokora mavhotsi muna June. Vakanditora vakaenda neni pabase apo vaishungurudzira vanhu.
The focus of Witness is trying to think through how do you empower the people who are closest to what happens, who are right there when it happens, and say, we know your story needs to be told, we know you can tell your story, how do we give you the tools to do that in a way that will be compelling, truthful, and effective?
The keystone in Witness's strategy is the establishment of partnerships with grassroots activists around the world. These relationships with people on the local level allow Witness to form tactics that are appropriate for dealing with specific crises. For Witness, it's not just about mass media. It's about finding tools that have the power to affect change.
What I did pretty quickly was really try to deepen the training and to develop a set of materials and a kind of a curriculum that moved it beyond the focus on the technical to some pretty well elaborated strategic dimensions. You know, what's the problem? What's the solution? Who can implement the solution to the problem, and then design your video advocacy plan. Think about, also enumerate the ways in which we can use video in advocacy. Video as evidence in court, video online, video at a grassroots level to educate and activate people, video for broadcast journalism, and I think most importantly and most influentially, video to be used as a targeted screening before a key decision maker. Where's the opportunity to change the person's mind?
Plus de 20 000 enfants ont été recrutés et utilisés par toutes les parties en conflit armé en RDC, notamment à l'Est, depuis 1996. Je m'appelle Boukeni Beck et je suis directeur de AGDK, Projet Enfants Soldats, basé à Uvira.
Video isn't something soft. It's not just an entertainment tool. It's not just a way of fundraising. It's a way of really having an impact on an audience. So we work with groups when we train them to help them identify, what do they want to achieve, and who is the audience who can make a difference in doing that. And so sometimes that's only 7 people. We worked with a group who was using video in the first ever case before the Pan-African human rights body, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. And so there it's only about trying to convince 7 judges, and you could have a massive impact in that case around land rights in Kenya. But in other cases, clearly it's not just those 7 people in a room. It's 150 people in communities in Eastern Congo who have to make a decision that they don't want their children to become part of the militias there. So it's showing video there to start a dialogue. And in other cases, it's really going to be about, how can we get this material in front of a worldwide audience, but in a context that gives it meaning. Because I think part of the problem sometimes is we see these decontextualized images of events at the other side of the world. And so it's about getting these out to the YouTube generation, getting them on CNN, but thinking about how we frame it in ways that people will watch it and go, I can do something about this. So if we go for a broad audience, let's give that broad audience an opportunity to act. And so that's really at the heart of our work, is this idea: know your objective, know your audience, and then tell a truthful, ethical story. Contextualize images and words so that you can persuade people to take action.
As more people plugged into the internet, Witness created a media sharing platform called The Hub, which allows activists, organizations, and concerned individuals to share ideas and information.
Our dream is that, people will contribute and will record these images, and we've created a website called The Hub where anyone can upload, take action, and become a participant. Because, in this world, I don't think anyone can say, I'm not going to be partially responsible for what's going on around me.
Even as they create a large human rights community, Witness understands that their focus needs to remain on the empowerment of individuals immediately affected by social injustice. Every campaign that Witness is a part of has a different mission and has to be directed by local partners.
When we say local, we don't just mean, Fort Greene, we mean, Bukavu in Eastern Congo, or we mean, across a region. So what is it that people are demanding and asking for? And we know that we're not experts. We're not experts in what's happening in Eastern Congo, what's happening in rural Brazil, what's happening in California in the prison system. So that understanding of strategy, of who the audiences are, who the objective are, has to come from people who are close to it. What we think we can bring to the table is an understanding about how video and the power of visual storytelling can add something to what people know already.
I don't believe human rights organizations should work in silos, but we should coalition. There are amazing tools out there. We just were at the Berkeley Human Rights Conference, and we talked to a lot of other people using mobile, using other tools, and we said, how do we do this together? And how do we actually, share our best practices?
Maitoro dano ripi. Kose dano iroro musina kuritoro pandiri. Kose makaita kuti zviitike. Imosha kuruwa munhu nekurepa munhu.